What's up, everyone? Tiger Stacker here. We're going to talk about two very important and somewhat controversial topics on how to build your wealth that is not directly stacking precious metals. What are they? Cryptocurrency and mining stocks, or royalty stocks. I've been dabbling in both for a few different reasons. One, to see what will happen. Experimentation. I'm a scientist, but not just only with what's on the periodic table, but also with what happens in real life. So I invested in mining and royalty stocks, not many and not a whole lot of money. And I invested in cryptocurrency, not many, and again, not a whole lot of money. But before we go into this, I need to explain to you that I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. You do you, I do me. But I do want to share with you my experiences so that you can all decide what you want to do. Are you doing cryptocurrency? Are you not? Are you doing mining stocks? Are you not? Are you doing royalty stocks? Are you not? Put a comment down below. In addition, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment. It really helps out the channel. I really work hard at trying to give you good content, and I would appreciate you subscribing, supporting the channel, coming to see the videos, and seeing if it will help you become a better prepared financial person. Stacking, not stacking. And if you want, feel free to become a member. No pressure. So as you know, I am a scientist, I'm a physician, I'm a stacker, maybe a little bit of a collector, but I'm trying to inch back into main stacking because I'm more concerned that no matter how much I like the pretty stuff might not move as well as basic boring stuff. So subsequently, I also started exploring cryptocurrency and mining stocks and royalty stocks. To give you a history, when I first started waking up, I got back into stocks and bonds, lost a good bit of money, just like I did the first couple times I tried it. Then I got into cryptocurrency, lost money, but not as much. And then I woke up even further and started to remember my Gramps when he was talking about different things, including having silver dollars, both Morgans and pieces. So remembering what my grandfather taught me and what I experienced in my life, which you can see in some of my earlier videos, I started waking up and quickly, and then started getting involved in gold and silver. This video is for everyone, especially the newbies. I really want the newbies to really understand. And if you can only buy 1 ounce of silver a week or a month or whatever your budget fits, that's what you do. Do not hold yourself in comparison to the rest of us, especially those of us who are no longer newbies. Hold yourself to yourself. Do your budget. Try very hard to stay in the budget. It's very hard for human beings to do that, myself included, but try to stay in your budget and get what you can afford. If you have more free time, try to buy the dip. If you're like me, where time is not the most abundant commodity you have, buy when you can. Me personally, I buy approximately whenever payday hits. And I don't worry about the spot price, because by the time the spot price hits where I would like it to hit, I'm back at work and I can't afford the time to go buy. Time is more precious. So let's get into this. Cryptocurrency, frequently called crypto, is a digital currency that utilizes encryption for secure transactions and operates on a decentralized system known as a blockchain. Unlike traditional currencies issued by governments and regulated by central banks, cryptocurrencies exist solely in electronic form and operate independently. Bitcoin, created in 2009, was the first cryptocurrency and remains the most well-known, but there are literally thousands of others. Last I heard, it was exceeding 20,000 different versions of cryptocurrency. And me personally, I think the cryptocurrency is very analogous to the different forms of paper currency that existed prior to 1907, which in my opinion, the government allowed to get to a chaotic level where the people were asking for governmental control, which then led into the currency only being authorized by the federal government in 1907, and then led to the Federal Reserve in 1913, for which inflation has taken over. So Typically, changes never happen without a crisis, and subsequently, the people in power and in money are taking more and more control. Just like my dad always said, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And like George Carlin said,
it's a big club, and you ain't in it.
So the best thing we can do is have our own club, converting everything that we can out of fiat, which is losing value, into precious metals that maintain their value. But then along came Bitcoin, and subsequently there were others: Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin, now owned by Elon Musk, and thousands of others, many of which you don't even hear much about and don't maintain a very good value and probably will fall by the wayside. Me personally, I believe that cryptocurrency is been allowed by the government, similarly to the way they let paper money be made by other states and banks until things got chaotic. They're allowing the chaos to happen so that they can come in with their own form of currency, which we'll talk about later. Who owns blockchain? They say no one does. Some of them say it's this fella, Satoshi Nakamoto, but no one seems to know this person personally, or he's never had an interview with anyone, or have they?
The main reason I'm here is to clear my name that I have nothing to do with Bitcoin. That's not me.
I've watched a good bit of another channel called Local Silvermint, and the owner, Dave, has more than once shown that the patent for blockchain technology is actually owned by the U.S. government. And if that's true, that's who owns control of the blockchain and subsequently anything else attached to the blockchain. Do your own due diligence. I look for it. I haven't found the same thing that Silver Dave has found, but I believe it's there. And that all I need to do is find it myself, and at which time I will report it back to all of you. So now let's talk about mines and royalty groups. Gold mining is the extraction of gold by mining. We know that gold has a finite amount both above and below ground, as well as silver and other precious metals. I also have looked into uranium mining. Now, it's really not a precious metal per se, and you can't really hold it and own it because it's dangerous, but it does provide a certain amount of power for things such as power plants, also nuclear weapons, but it can be used a lot to substantially reduce our need for fossil fuels. And in my own opinion, as long as it is contained and doesn't become another place like 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl, it is a clean form of energy that doesn't pollute. So I look into uranium mining as also. I also have looked into silver mining, which silver is rarely the main product of a mine. It's usually a byproduct, and found with other metals such as gold, copper, zinc, and there's more silver mined in the world than there is gold. However, silver is used as an industrial metal and subsequently gets used up, where gold typically is not, but both can be used in industry and also in healthcare. I've also invested a little bit in gold royalty, which I'll share with you in a little bit. What is a royalty company? It's basically a miner's bank where the miners go to the royalty company to borrow money and then pay back in either money or a portion of the products that they mine out. And before we go any further, I'd like to point out that this video is not sponsored by anyone. These are my own personal opinions, my own personal experience that I want to share with all of you. I've also looked into uranium royalty, and just like gold, royalty group is a bank, so to say. Now, if you consider what spot price is, it's a manipulated price, but it tends to be basically the price that, in my understanding, that things such as the LBMA and the COMEX are willing to pay the miners for said metals. Subsequently, the spot price of gold has gone up. It's currently flatline right now, as opposed to the climb it's had, and it tends to be a little less volatile than its little brother, silver. Silver tends to be more volatile, and most recently has been climbing up. It's gone up to about $39, currently at 38.5. And today is July 27, 2025. At the current rate, gold is $3,349 and change, and silver is $38.35, with a gold to silver ratio of 87.24. Certainly is a big drop compared to what it was a few weeks ago when it was well above 100. And some of you have played the gold to silver ratio and sold your gold to get more ounces of silver, which is a good play if you're willing to do that and you have the time. I personally don't have that time to call up bullion dealers, go to the local pawn shop in my area. Now, mine is particularly good. Actually, it's better than any of the coin shops in my city. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't have the time at this time in my life to go ahead and be free to play the gold to silver ratio. Subsequently, I only sell when my back's to the wall, like when I had sepsis. So I would say, if you have the time and you want to do that, that's on you. You take the risk that you take. The risk I take is I only sell when my back's to the wall. Otherwise, I buy and I keep. Silver and gold will again be recognized as money, whether it's in a barter form or the government then starts realizing they got to go back to the basics, which works. So that's why I don't put a lot of emphasis on the gold and silver ratio for my personal belief. But if I had the time, I might try it because I like to experiment. So let me show you my philosophy on cryptocurrency and mining or royalty stocks. We're going to compare cryptocurrency and mining or royalty stocks. The first topic is, can you hold it? And in both cases, no. Either in paper form or in digital form, you have an idea how much cryptocurrency you have, or mining or royalty stocks. I personally use Robinhood because I can do it on my phone. And yes, I worry about the phones and the currency and the electricity getting taken over. That's why I try to watch what's going on as much as I can in the world, as well as my phone. The next topic is the ease of trade or buying or selling. They're both pretty easy with Robinhood, and I'm sure with whatever other electric forms that there are, and even with the stocks that are not covered with Robinhood and other big names. You can pick up the phone and call your broker and get things worked out. I typically don't do that, although I'd like to. Once again, I have time management issues, so I just stick with what I have time for. Can it go to zero? Cryptocurrency? Yes. There's not much history to it, but we've seen it shoot the moon and fall back to the ground. And it's very volatile. It tends to follow the stock market, but not always. Mining? Yes, but it's unlikely because there is a intrinsic value to gold, silver, uranium, oil, and all the other commodities that are out there. So subsequently, it's very unlikely for it to go to zero because it has an intrinsic value to people. And especially in gold, less likely in silver, but still in silver. According to the Bank of International Affairs, which is basically the central bank's central bank, gold is the only commodity, subsequently silver too, that has no counterparty risk and is used in every aspect of the global economy and has the broadest base of buyer. Subsequently, you can use this all throughout the globe. Cryptocurrency? Maybe, but I've also seen where China let people do cryptocurrency until they did their own and then they outlawed it. Historically first, cryptocurrency definitely is not historically first. It started in 2009. Mines, precious metals, radioactive metals such as uranium have been around for centuries and have been mined and used subsequently all throughout our history throughout the globe. Is there a potential for physical? Maybe, if it's played right with the cryptocurrency. Once again, you got to have the time and the due diligence that I particularly don't have. That's why I play with it only as an experiment and also to report it to all of you. So those of you who aren't doing all this, you can learn from people who are experiencing it and make up your own minds. And if you do want to, I would say just put in enough that you're willing to lose and it won't hurt you. Mining, maybe more likely to get physical because that's what they're mining something that is physical. Cryptocurrency, they call it mining, but there really is no mine. You have computers using a lot of electricity to build these blockchains and do all these algorithms, which then gives the people who are doing the computerized mining some of the cryptocurrency in exchange. But, you got to be careful with it. You got to have passwords, and if you lose the passwords, you lose your money. I know of a priest that believes more in crypto than in physical. His code got hacked. How? I don't know. And he lost a significant amount. Physical physical, you can have someone come to your home and steal from you. You can have them come to your place where your depository is, and if they can overpower the security there, they could take that. If they find out where you hide it and you're not there to protect it. And certainly do not put your physical metals in a safe deposit box, because that means the bank owns it and the government owns it, and they can come take it from you, and you don't know what happened until it's too late. Plus, if they're shut down because of a crisis, weekends, holidays, etc., you don't have access to it. Who owns it? Cryptocurrency? It's pretty much unknown, but as I mentioned before, there's some evidence that the government actually owns patents, and the person who owns the patents can own all the rest. Mining? That's clearly published. Go to the individual miners and the individual royalty groups, and they clearly have it published who are the owners and the major players, and do your own due diligence. I did mine, and like I said, I play with it because I want physical more than I want non-physical, and I want to report to all of you, my subscribers. Fear. Well, think about it. Crypto came first. Then they were talking about CBDCs. And everybody figured out what CBDCs was about, so they complained about it. Well, then we were told, no, we're not going to do CBDCs. But then they started Stablecoin. And Stablecoin does everything that CBDCs was. So my personal opinion, and many others, Stablecoin is a Trojan horse. In actuality, is CBDCs. It is the wolf in sheep's clothing. In mining, my fear is that the banks and the big governments are going to buy all the precious metals, which is going to drive up the price and make it hard for the little guys like you and me to get more. So subsequently, if you can, do so. Confiscation. It's going to be easy with cryptocurrencies or CBDCs or stablecoins. All they got to do is push computerized buttons, and poof, what you have is no longer what you have. Under mines, if it's done through electricity, such as Robinhood, it's going to be easier. If you own the hard assets, physically own them, it's going to be harder for them to confiscate. And I honestly don't think they're going to do it. They have much easier ways to take what you own, especially through the computer system. They're less likely to be coming knocking at your door. And I know a lot of people who love their lead. And just as much as they love their lead and not want to give up their lead, they'll not want to give up their precious metals. Now, when it comes to uranium, obviously, you can't own it. The other reason I think physical confiscation is less likely, if you look back at 1933, when the people gave up their 90% constitutional gold, the government took it and they melted down into bars, but they did not refine it. They have bars that are pure gold and they have bars that are 90% gold. Our government does not like to spend money on things that they don't want to. So subsequently, if they're going to be lazy in that way, I think they're going to be lazy in another physical confiscation. In fact, the 1933 physical confiscation was a voluntary one. It wasn't even a law. It was an executive order. So it's less likely. Now, some people also believe that they're going to leave pre-33 alone. They may or may not. Because of laws of eminent domain, they might take everything. They can take whatever they want. They have to offer you a fair price, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to revalue it later like they did in 1933. Converting to physical. I don't know if you can convert cryptocurrency to physical. I think you'd have to go through a process of getting the crypto out of the blockchain internet market and get it converted into cash, then dump it in your bank, then try to get it out of your bank and go buy the physical. That has a lot of steps. And I've seen it where crypto apps are less likely to give it to you or give it to you timely, which makes it a little harder to get it into your bank. Then you have to go to the bank and they might give you a hard time. Well, what's this for? Well, in theory, you don't own that money anymore. Once you give it to the bank, they consider it to be theirs. And then you have to fight to get back what you really own. And then go to the next step of buying. That's a lot of steps. Under mines and royalties, I also don't know, but I suspect it would be easier, especially in the physical mines that you can hold, such as gold and silver. Maybe they would have a process of you selling your stocks back to the company and they send you the physical precious metals, with the exception of uranium. So how does this share with my plans, my physical charts, my understanding? Let me share this with you. This is part of my spreadsheet. I'm not going to share with you all of it, but I will share with you the cryptocurrencies and stocks that I have purchased. You can see the dates that I purchased, price of the initial shares at the time of the purchase. If you notice, I spent approximately $500 per cryptocurrency. And the same thing with stocks, about $500 total. You compare the price that I bought it at, which was the current price as of today, and the percentage that I've kept and the percentage that I've lost. And initially, there was a drop. I was at a loss for all 4 cryptocurrencies. I bought Dogecoin first because I thought being it was with Elon Musk, it would do a good job. And subsequently, as of today's date, I lost 37%. I then bought Bitcoin for a similar type of mentality, and I did lose a good bit, but as of today's date, I've gained 31%. Then I decided to go with Ethereum because it's the next biggest one, and lost a good bit, and as of right now have gained 14%. I didn't expect that to happen. I expected to stay low for much longer. XRP, because I had it on pretty decent authority that this would be the cryptocurrency the government turned into CBDCs. And I did lose a good bit, but as of today, I'm up 31%, which basically means that initially my gain loss was a total loss. It's been as low as $600 at one point. Currently, I'm up $200. But cryptocurrency is very volatile. And if you don't believe me, get on things such as Robinhood. You don't have to buy it. Just look at what's happening, how volatile it is. It's more volatile than silver. So let's go on with royalties and mines. Gold royalty. I bought it at this price on these dates. Its current price is 2.63, and I've gained 24%. Gold mining. These are the dates I bought and the prices that I bought them at. And if you notice, the price per share has dropped. It has stayed between 78 to 82 cents per share for a good long while. And I have lost, as of today's date, 16%. Uranium royalty. Bottom on these dates, and uranium royalty has done pretty decently for me. I've been pretty happy with it, and I'm gained approximately 24%. Uranium energy, I've been pretty happy with this one. This one has been the best performer. These are the prices and the dates I bought them on, and I'm now at about 101% on uranium energy. And then subsequently, I did get into Vizsla Silver, which I think is up in Alaska, because I was hearing about Trump and Drill Baby Drill, which was not only for natural gas and petroleum products, but also for precious metals. So I got into that not very long ago, and my returns has gotten better. And subsequently, I'm up 62%. And then there's this newer gold mining that I got into for the same reason. I just got a feeling that it was going to do pretty okay. However, if you notice, I've lost 21% on it. Now, if you compare the gold mining to this gold mining, here I've lost 16%, and this gold mining I've lost 21%. So gold mining at this time is not doing so well. However, if you're a contrarian investor, this is a great time to invest. I tend to sit on it and try to figure out, do I want to flip my money around somewhere from one place to another? Do I not? Do I want to get rid of the low producers? Do I not? So subsequently, I recently have gained $200 on crypto, and I've gained $800 some dollars on the mining and royalty. So I'm up a little over $1,000. However, that's not where I've been. I've been as low as $400-500 total loss here, and not very long ago. So I want you to all be aware of the risks involved in the different minings and royalty groups. If it pays off, it will pay off maybe small, maybe large. And as I said before, I'm not being sponsored by any of these organizations. This is my personal observation, my personal experiment, and I want you all to do your own due diligence. You don't have to even spend any money to do it. Just if you want to, pretend you put money in. You can make your own spreadsheet without even spending any money. Put in the numbers and see them crunch out, and decide if you want to do anything or not do anything. So those are the topics I have on cryptos, mining, royalty, and what I'm doing. If I make a good bit of money in crypto, my plan is to get out before it becomes volatile again and drops back down. At which time I get out, do I want to invest in mining and royalty groups? or do I want to get out and get silver and more gold? I lean more towards of getting more physical. I might get into the minings if I have a better feeling of what's going to happen and I'm going to get a better rate of return. But I have never had really good luck with stocks, bonds, and crypto. This is the best luck I've ever had, ever in my life. With this, you all have seen the same thing. The slow increase of gold, the slow increase of silver. Make your own decisions for your family. Protect yourself, protect your family, take care of each other, and let's stay tight as a community. We have the best YouTube community out there, so let's grow it, cultivate it, nurture it, protect each other, because we are a wonderful family. I believe in this family. I believe in you. See you all in the next one. Tiger Stacker out.